If the First Crusade had the main goal of seizing Jerusalem from the Islamic civilization of the Middle East, the Second Crusade was a military campaign called for by the Pope and European nobles. The goal was to capture the city of Edessa in Mesopotamia. The city of Edessa fell in 1144 AD to the Islamic civilization under the control of the Turkish Empire, Seljuk Raya. For this reason, the Pope and European nobles again campaigned for the Second Crusade. Despite an army of 60,000 and the presence of two Western kings, the Crusades were unsuccessful in the Levant and led to further tensions between the Byzantine Empire and the West. The Second Crusade also included significant campaigns in the Iberian Peninsula and the Baltic against Muslim and pagan Europeans. Both secondary campaigns were largely successful, but the primary goal of liberating the Latin East from the threat of occupation and Islamic civilization remained unfulfilled. While the Crusades continued for 2 centuries, they ended with little success. City of Edessa. Edessa is a city located on the edge of the Surya Mountains in Upper Mesopotamia, a commercial and cultural center important. The city had been in Catholic Christian hands since the First Crusade, but fell to Imam Adi Nizami, the independent Muslim ruler of Mosul in Iraq and Aleppo, on December 24, 1144 AD. Following the capture, which Muslims portrayed as a triumphant victory, Catholic Christians were killed or sold into slavery, while Orthodox Christians were allowed to keep staying. Above all, Catholic Christians made a common appeal for help and defense in the Latin East, as the Crusader states of the Middle East were known collectively. Pope Eugenier III officially ordered the crusade on the 1st of December 1145 AD, but the purpose of the campaign remains somewhat unclear. Neither Eden Samoa nor Shanghai are mentioned specifically, but rather a broad appeal to the achievements of the First Crusade and Christians and the holy relics in the Levant to protect. This lack of proper objectives would have an impact on the Crusaders' choice of military targets in the future. To boost the appeal of the Crusades, Christians who joined were promised forgiveness of their sins, even if they died on the journey to the Levant. Additionally, their property and family will be protected while away and about. Trivial matters such as loan interest will be covered or canceled. The call was supported by a recruitment drive across Europe, especially by Bernard, Abbess Claire Fuchs, and a wide public reading of the letter from the Pope. The letter was called Producessores Quantum after its first 2 words were very successful, and 60,000 Crusaders joined and were ready for departure. The crusade was led by King Conradiga and King Louis VII, King of France. This was the first time the king had personally led the Crusaders. In the early summer of 1147 AD, the armies shared a European semination to Constantinople, from there to the Levant, where French and German troops were joined by Italians, Europeans, and more worthy French crusaders than to travel overland. Crusaders reminded of the urgency of Nur ad-Din's military response. Nur ad-Din was Zangi's successor after his death in September 1146 AD. He defeated the Latin leader Jocelyn II's attempt to retake Edessa. Once again, the city was sacked to celebrate their newfound power. All the Christians in the city were massacred. Women and children were sold into slavery, as people did west 2 years earlier. The Second Crusade, besides Edessa, had additional objectives in Iberia and the Baltic, and both campaigns were fully supported by the Pope. A crusade that would have marched east was probably used in Iberia, as they had to delay their departure to allow land forces to make their slow progress in the Levant. The sea route is much faster, so it is profitable for put it to good use for a while. A fleet of some 160 to 200 Genoese ships combined in a Crusader force sailed to Lisbon to help King Alfonso of Portugal capture the city from the Muslims. Upon arrival there, the evacuation began on June 28, 1147 AD, and was finally successful. The city fell on October 24, 1147 Masahin. Some of the Crusaders managed to continue their journey against the Muslims in Iberia, to the Conquista as it is known, capturing Almeria in Spain. The Crusaders were led by King Alfonso VII of Leon and Castile and Tortosa in eastern Spain on December 30, 1148 AD. However, the attack on Jalan in southern Spain failed. Thank you for watching.